UFC Fight Night Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber just ended. I'm gonna go through the whole card, give you my thoughts on each fight, and boy oh boy, was this card ever one of the cards of all time. Um, I'm just gonna start with it, and then you're gonna get a major rant at the end of this about the Apex, about the UFC. We're starting off with Arda Wang. She beat Dos Santos by unanimous decision. She was the aggressor in round one, landing a lot of good combinations, backing Dos Santos against the fence. Round two, Arda Wang reversed the takedown, went nowhere. We had a knife poke by Dos Santos at 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And then Arthur Wayne continued. Um, her pace started backing up a little bit though, but she was letting the hands go and she was landing shots. Dos Santos got reversed again. Um, Not much happened on the ground if I'm being honest. Round round ends on the feet. 2:30:27 was 1:29:28. She wins her debut. She had a good performance, I guess. Wasn't the most entertaining, but hey, shout out to Arda Wing. She won her debut. We move on to Bellagio Key winning by unanimous decision. He looked really good in this fight. Oki opened up the fight with a big hook, and you can clearly tell there was immediate power difference between the two. He landed a huge hook to the body as well, and that the hooks to the body was something that he was really chipping at, and it was working well for him. Aswell then started to advance and landing shots, while Oki was the one landing the better shots. Had a nice combination against the fence near the 1 minute mark. Round two, Oki was fired up. Aswell had a few clean slips that I really enjoyed. And then Oki faked a jab into an uppercut, which was very clean, and then ended round two chasing Aswell down while he was running. Round three, Oki came out and he knew that Aswell could not do anything to him. Walked Aswell down with his hands down, and Bellagio won mainly on damage and Aswell headhunting in this fight. 29-28. Yeah, I really enjoyed his performance. He was probably one of the only highlights on this card. We move on to Jordan Levitt, another highlight on this card. Levitt got some takedowns early. First one didn't work. Um, I'm already blanking on buddy's name here. I'm sorry, like this card was awful. Let me pull up his name. Um, da, 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 da. Why can't I remember it? Give me a second here. Kurt Allbaugh. There we go. Um, he got the back. Allbaugh got back up. Gets the gets him back down. Got a dart choke after rolling into it off of a suplex, which is really cool. One of my favorite moments in recent years. But yeah, good win for Jordan Webber, the guy that's fighting a lot of tough and up and comers. We'll see where Jordan Webber goes. He's an entertaining fighter. We knew that the grappling was his way to win, and he was able to find it. So a good win by him with the dirt stroke. We move on to Alan Nascimento winning by unanimous decision. Piccolo started off round one grappling, pushed Nascimento on the fence, got a hip toss, got him down. Round one ended with Figo having top mount with a guillotine, which um he had that sunk in for a good while. I believe it was over a minute. He kept going for it. He had to switch his grip a couple times. Round two, same thing. Early takedown for Figo until Nascimento got on top and was fighting for an arm triangle. Figo tried getting up, and Nascimento was able to deny his get up. Threw some elbows at the end of the round on top. Really good round for Nascimento. Round 3, they hugged before the round. Figueroa landed some good strikes on the feet, reversed a takedown from Nascimento. Nascimento then reversed position and ends up on the back. Stays there the rest of the round. Nascimento walks away with the unanimous decision 29-28. It was a grappling match. We did have, a couple cool transitions, but yeah, not really much in this fight either. We move on to Zachary Reese, who I picked to win. I love Zachary Reese. Zachary Reese is one of my favorite up and coming fighters. I did not think he won this fight. Dusko got an early takedown and held on to his head in a guillotine. Reese was able to get up at the 3 minute mark, but Dusko, with the control, was working very well. Dusko then gets pressed upon the cage by Reese, got out, and gets Reese against the fence himself, where he controlled him the rest of the round. Not much to say there. Round 2, Reese had a bit more patience, but Dusko was able to close the space. Reese then went for a flying knee, missed it though. Dusko, he was getting more confident as the fight went on, and I honestly had him winning this fight. Round 3, we did see a bit of urgency from Reese, but got cut on the eyebrow. Honestly, I just thought Dusko did more in the first 2 rounds. I know Zachary Reese outlanded him, but he did not look good in this fight, and he definitely needs to work on his takedown defense, which was a problem in his last few fights. And I think once he goes up against a, decent wrestler, I don't think he has an answer for it unless he puts serious work in. But he walked away with the win here. Again, I always say gave it to Dusko. Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think won this fight? I might be wrong here. We move on to Ketlin Vieira winning by unanimous decision. Shyson, however you say it, looked awful in this fight. Vera took the middle of the cage looking for counters off of Shyson. She was doing a good job moving until Vera teed off in the clinch against the fence and landed a couple good hooks. I believe a few uppercuts too, but it looked, she was putting in the work. They get back to the middle with a bit of time left, where Maycee advanced a bit, but the round ends with Vera holding her against the fence, not really doing much with it. Maycee started round 2 instantly shooting for a takedown, which Vieira ends up on top and stays in guard mostly. They did get up for I think 30 seconds, but nothing happened there. Round 3, Maycee feels a takedown, and Vieira gets back in guard. Controls it down most of the round, and then we get Maycee at the end of the round doing an impression of DDP, of just running at Vieira, swinging strikes. I mean, I respect the effort, but none of the strikes that she was throwing looked the least bit. I don't even know how to say it. It was basically like she was running at her and windmilling. Which I get it. You're losing the fight. Vieira wins by unanimous decision 130-27. Apparently 229-28. Maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly had all 3 rounds for Vieira. Shyson just did not impress me at all. And, she only had maybe a handful of moments in this fight where she looked good. But I mean, hey, Vieira rebounds after losing to Kayla Harrison. who is fighting for the title, probably will win the belt next week or whenever UFC 316 is. What a good win for Caitlin Vieira. Dustin Jacoby. This is a performance that I'm gonna hype up. Dustin Jacoby looks sick in this fight. Lopez took the center of the cage, but Dustin was trying to take his head off from the moment the bell rang. Dropped Lopez in the middle of the cage with a jab. Lopez got backed up to the cage, where Jacoby just teed off, landed some major hooks, but it was the right hook that folded Lopez, and he called out the judges for robbing him in the round three fight. I'm so glad he did that. And he said that he's going golfing now. And after that performance, he deserves it, man. This was the performance that Dustin Jacoby needed. I believe he's on a 2-fight win streak now. But yeah, like I said, the fact that a lot of people had him winning that fight against Khalil Roundtree, who fought for the belt when he shouldn't have. There was no reason for him to fight for the belt. But I really want to see Dustin Jacoby go on a run. I like Dustin Jacoby. I don't know how far he goes, but this is a performance that he really needed. And I'm really excited for him. Again, one of the only highlights on this card. Then, during the show, they showed the interview with Joanna Pena and Kayla Harrison, hyping up that fight for UFC 316. Honestly, the people's main event. Nobody really cares to see Sean O'Malley come back from a layoff and fight Merab, who just had one of the greatest performances against an undefeated Nurmagomedov. He handed the Nurmagomedov name their first loss in MMA. And then they also announced that UFC Noche is no longer in Mexico. I believe it's moving to San Antonio, Texas. So it's a really good thing that we made Yair Rodriguez fight Volkanovski in the main event. Don't worry, guys. We have a Mexican in the main event, even though he looked awful in that Patricio Pitbull fight. They both looked awful. But yeah, death taxes. Yair getting a title shot he doesn't deserve. So yeah, that's it. We move on to Ramirez Brahimaj getting a round one standing guillotine. He started off the fight, shot an early double leg, got Goff down and got the back. Goff got up and pushed Brahimaj against the fence, tried to work something in, but Brahimaj reversed the position, walked in a standing guillotine, and it was a matter of seconds before Goff tapped, which Goff was a major favorite in this fight. This is a major win for Brahimaj. Had a moment with DC through the cage. DC was like, do not jump over the cage. Do not get the fine. Which, I know why. We all know why that rule is there. Khabib. But I mean, it's still a good moment to see a guy jump on the cage, even if he jumps out. Like Oliveira does it all the time. They're not going to stop, Oliveira. Always they shouldn't. But this is now two first down finishes in a row. Starting to put together a pretty good streak. Beat a heavy favorite in this card. We'll see what happens next with him. Then we move on to the co-main event, or should I say the main event. I picked Gamrot to win. I picked him to win by knockout. Gamrot is a top contender. I expect him to show up as a top contender, and he honestly did. Gamrot opened the fight with some quick combinations. Immediately took the center of the cage and was pushing the fight in this. Ooh. Oh my god. There we go. We're better now. Klein then stunned Gamrot with a jab, but he was able to recover, shoots for a takedown, got back control, and ended the round controlling Klein. Easy round for Gamrot. Round two starts with Gamrot catching a kick, instantly getting Klein down, and spent the whole round in guard or against the fence. And I threw this in there too. During this fight, I believe it was the start of the second round. Lorosenko says one of the stupidest things I've ever heard on commentary. Like, everybody shits on Dominic Cruz for saying that Conor was trying to gas out Khabib. What does Klein need to do, Lorosenko? Oh, he needs to throw a temper tantrum. He needs to throw a temper tantrum. Throw the kicks. Yeah, because that's how you win a fight. Throw a temper tantrum. Really? Round ended on the feet. Again, it was Gamrot's round, though. Klein was back in Gamrot up in the third. Stuffed the takedown. Gamrot then checked the clock near the 3-minute mark, which is not a good sign. But Klein, he was starting to put it together in the third round. He landed a big left overhand that Gamrot ate. Gamrot then shot again. Barely gets in guard. Gets the back briefly, but ends the round on top. Gamrot won by unanimous decision. Calls for either Patty or BSD in Paris. I really like those two fights from BSD though. You guys know my opinion on that. I want them to take their time with BSD. I honestly think that Gamrot could be a good fight for him, but I don't want them to immediately go do what they did before, right? Oh, BSD, he's on a good run. Let's give him Dustin Poirier off of, the gauge it was, so we can hopefully get Dustin Poirier out of the top rankings. And then it miserably fails for them. But it was a good win for Mateusz Gamrot. I did pick him to win by finish, but he still looked incredible in this fight. Who would I want to see Gamrot fight next? I wouldn't mind the BSD fight, even though I just, shit on it. Maybe, Dan Harker rematch would be good, since, many people thought he beat Dan Harker. Very close fight. But, yeah, I think this is a good one for Gamrot. Basically did what he had to do. Still, I expected a finish from him. And then for the main event, right, right after they did the promo, Maycee Barber was now medically cleared to compete right as she was walking to the cage. We don't know any of the updates. I'll have to watch the press conference. But yeah, no main event. The main event was Gamrot versus Klein, which was a decent fight. But holy shit, dude, this card was painful to watch. It was fucking painful. Enough with the Apex. Nobody likes the fucking Apex. Like, why do we want a reminder of 2020 to 2022? Everybody loved the Apex Fight Island because, when all the other sports were gone, we still had MMA. And I honestly think that is one of the reasons UFC, UFC became one of the biggest sports. But this is an awful card. This was so painful to watch. Again, what Laura Sanko said was one of the stupidest things I've ever heard a commentator say in my life. And that says a lot with the recent commentary or the recent stuff that has been said by, DC, Joe Rogan, I would say everybody but John Anik. Um, don't Cruz, I know, the Khabib thing, he's usually good, but oh my. Like, look, I'm trying to grow my channel here. I love MMA. I spend my entire day watching videos on MMA, reading articles, watching fights, you know, making lists of shit, finding video ideas that I want to do. But the UFC in 2025, it's a fucking chore to watch some of these events. There's no promotion. There's no hype promotion of these fights. What do we get, next? We got Sean O'Malley coming off of a 1 year layoff. Well, yeah, what's the difference? Oh, he quit jacking off and smoking weed. Wow. Wow. You know, who, who needs to see him fight Corey Sandhagen or even Umar Nurmagomedov or any other of the top 15 contenders that he hasn't faced yet? Meanwhile, Marab has a legacy fight right now ready for him in Pantoja. And I honestly think after he beats Pantoja, I would want to see Marab move up. Aljo. I know Aljo was doing good, but I would love to see Marab fight for the featherweight title. The Volk fan in me, I don't like the actually. I think Volk wins that fight, honestly. But again, it's his age, right? But I mean, holy shit, dude! What the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing with the UFC now? But yeah, man, another Apex card in the books. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think about this card? What fights made you interested? I really want to hear your thoughts on the Zachary Reeves fight. I genuinely thought that Dusko won that fight clearly. I could be totally wrong. Again, it's usually every fight we have at least two fights that make no sense because of judging. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this fight night card. Yeah. Oh my, I hate the UFC right now. Let's hope that UFC 316 delivers. We got Buckley versus Usman next. My boy, your future welterweight champion, Walking Buckley, will go out there, smoke Kamaru Usman, retire him, and then it'll be fighting JDM next. I guess the winner JDM and Islam, which Buckley versus Islam is a really fun fight. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm done talking about this pilot